Three Ukrainian students, Maria, Varvara, and Elizaveta, came here from the small town of Kermina in the Luhansk region to improve their English. The GoCamp English camps, organized by Go Global, was specifically set up to help children from the front lines of the conflict zone in eastern Ukraine. Their application for participating in the GoCamp program was submitted in advance. These girls were very happy to have passed the selection. We like it very much. I like to communicate with volunteers. It's much more interesting than learning English independently. We are studying in a playful and colloquial form. We just talk. It's much easier for us to learn this language. So many children wanted to be here. We are very happy to get this opportunity. 600 students from eastern Ukraine will visit the camps located outside of the capital Kyiv over the summer. They will be taught by 120 volunteers. Each session is 2 weeks long and includes 100 students and 20 volunteers. The volunteers, foreigners, and visitors to Ukraine mesh well with the students. There are group selfies and intellectual conversations. The volunteers also had to apply to be accepted into the Go Global program.
I've already been to Ukraine last year, and it was a very good time for me, and I really fell in love with the country. So I wanted to come back from the moment I left, actually, and I was just looking for an excuse to come back and help Ukraine in some way. And then I found Go Global, and well, that was the perfect option for me, actually.
The ambassador of Great Britain also participated as a volunteer. Judith Goff supported the creation of such camps and encouraged other diplomats to follow her example. And now the ambassadors of 6 countries travel around the country to teach young Ukrainians English. The ambassador stressed how important English is to young Ukrainians.
I think speaking English gives an opportunity for people who live here to trade with people from other countries. It is the lingua franca. It doesn't mean you have to go overseas to use your English. I see people here using their English every day. The internet allows people to trade and work with others without having to leave the country. But yes, you're right, it does give an opportunity for Ukrainians to travel, to work overseas, and then also to bring their knowledge back home with them and continue to work in Ukraine.
Similar camps are held throughout Ukraine. Children from different regions of the country have attended. Students from eastern Ukraine living on the front lines by the occupied territories have improved their English skills in Dnipro City as well as the Kyiv region for the 2nd year in a row, a skill Simon Williams, director of the British Council in Ukraine, considers immensely valuable.
As Oksana said, we've worked with Go Global over the last 18 months on the Year of English. And although this is not still quite the Year of English, I think it's the decade of English, the century of English. And I think this is probably the best, most exciting, most wonderful project we're doing. Statistics tell us that 25% of the world's population are now speak English or are learning English in some kind of way. By 2020, 4 billion people in the world will be able to speak English. So you are part of a large group, you are part of a big group, you're part of the sort of leaders both of your country in the future and indeed of the world.
Ukrainian children are learning to overcome the language barrier by communicating with volunteers in English-speaking camps. In turn, volunteers say they get to discover Ukraine and its people.